How to write out your proportions and what I was looking for in this assignment since I won't be here. So I did number 1 for you as a class so you could set it up. You don't have to necessarily do this, but one of the first things I did was I color-coded corresponding sides. I just think it makes it easier for a proportion. So we see 12 corresponds with 3 and 20 corresponds with x. When I set it up, you can either do one of two ways. I have 12 and 3 together here, 12 on top, 3 in the bottom, or you can set it up with 12 across from 3. Either way, they have to be on one of those two spots. Then I have that equal to 20 over x. 20 has to go on top because it corresponds with the 12. Over here I have 20 and then x on the bottom too. They have to correspond 3 with x because they're both from the same triangle. Following that way, there's two ways you can solve this. You can use the cross products method where you say 3 times 20, which is 60, and then divide by the only number left over, so 60 divided by 12 is 5. Or what a lot of people do is they say, how can I go from 12 to 3 if you see a relationship? 12 divided by 4 is 3, so 20 divided by 4 is 5. You will get 1 point for a correct proportion and 1 point for your answer. We're going to correct this on Monday. Let's go through one more example. Okay, so when I'm looking at this problem, I see here that the smallest sides are the 1 and the 3. So they correspond. I also see that x corresponds with 9. When I'm setting up my proportion, you can have x over 9 is equal to, now remember, if I have the large triangle here or small triangle, whatever it is, I have to also stick with that same pattern. So this would be 1 over 3. Using cross products, I can multiply 1 times 9 is 9, divide by the only number that's left over, which is 3, and my answer is 3. You don't have to show your work for these. We've done it enough where I trust that you guys know how to do this. However, you are getting 1 point for your proportion set up correctly. You can also set it up x is equal to 9 and then 1 is equal to 3. How did it go from 9 to 3? Or 3 to 9, vice versa. And this way I multiplied by 3. So here I'd have to multiply by 3. 1 times 3 is 3. Your answer is still 3. If you have any questions, the sub is here to help too. But you should be okay. Remember, you have your online book for help as well. This last part, all we're going to do is write each as a decimal and then round to the thousandth place. So remember, when you're converting from a percentage to a decimal, all you're doing is you're sliding that decimal place over twice. Always twice, no matter what it is. So in this case, 90% will become 0 and 90 hundredths, or 0 and 9 tenths. The thousandths place isn't represented here, which would be here, so we don't have to worry about it. The last part of what you're doing here is writing each as a percent and you're rounding to the nearest tenth. So when we're changing something from a decimal to a percent, the only thing you have to do is slide the decimal place over twice to the right. So in this case, it would be 45 and 2 tenths of a percent. Remember, the tenths place represented here only gets rounded if there's something afterwards. So if this was, let's say, an 8 here, instead of 45 and 2 tenths, it would become 45 and 3 tenths.